This set of 8 videos outlines the key elements of developing a school curriculum assessment framework. Based on the NHT framework, it provides a high-level view of each stage in the process.
An external moderation looks to validate the procedures that the school has gone through, to validate its standardisation procedure and to validate its internal moderation procedure. To moderate externally, what I would look for is 4 or 5 schools working together with the election of a chosen chair who will be, in the final analysis, accountable for the decisions around those procedures and the outcomes of those procedures.
I think it's probably worth saying that schools are used to this phrase external moderation. If you think of national tests, then schools are externally moderated by the local authority. I think what we're advocating here though is that teachers actually do themselves, they're empowered to do that. So this is, as Graham said, a group of 4 or 5 schools coming together and working as across a group of schools as a team almost to look at their standards. So it's normally a good idea, I would suggest, to appoint someone in that chair who people recognise as having some expertise in that subject, someone who's seen as a good professional and someone whose opinion will be appreciated by the others.
Can you give me a practical example of how that works for, say, 4 or 5 schools?
A particular school in the West Midlands looked to define its standard initially just in year 5 for reading, writing and maths, and worked with local schools in their neighbourhood to see if they too agreed that standard.
And when you say they worked with them, got together for an afternoon?
They got together for an afternoon and just looked at pieces of work that they said fulfilled the standard in those 3 subjects for that 1-year group.
Okay, so they look at each other's work?
No, they just looked at one particular school, and that one school looked to set the standard that was acceptable for all the other schools that were working with them.
It's probably worth distinguishing between external moderation that's a requirement, a statutory requirement. So local authorities have a statutory requirement to moderate Key Stage 2 schools. What we're talking is something slightly different. What we're talking about is the schools taking hold of that process for themselves. Key Stage 2 external moderation is focused purely and simply on the end of a key stage. What we're talking about is a process that makes sure that standards are understood and applied across years from 1 to 6 and they're in line with what other schools do.
I think the problem, if schools don't involve themselves in an effective external moderation process, is that the standards of work that their students are producing won't be in line with national expectations. They might miss important parts of the curriculum. The staff might not be fully aware of and understand all of the requirements of the national curriculum that they're supposed to teach, and that's not good for the teachers themselves in terms of their professional practice, but most important of all, it's not good for the students.
Yeah.
Frog Education provides a series of courses that explore the processes outlined in the 8 videos to provide schools with an understanding of what a curriculum and assessment framework should look like and how it works. For further information, contact Frog Education.